Hello and welcome back. I'm Bree and I'm here to teach you ukulele. In today's lesson, we'll be learning two chords, G and G7. Now there is much debate in the ukulele world about which one of these you should learn first. So I'm going to teach you both and you can decide which one's for you. However, I personally and professionally believe that you should learn both and play what's called for in the song. You can hear they sound quite different. Some people say just play G7 instead of G ever because it's easier. However, it doesn't always sound correct in a song. Sometimes it sounds just as good or it can even sound prettier than the original, so use your judgment. The reason it's easier to play G7 than G is you've already learnt F, you've got your peace sign fingers. To play G7, you'll see your first finger stays in the exact same position. Your second finger just moves down a string closer to your toes in the second fret, so it's not much of a move. And this third finger that's already hovering, like we spoke about with C, just needs to place on the second fret. Now, one thing you'll notice is that if I go to stick that in there, that's really awkward. My hand looks twisted and strange. So an important thing to do with playing some chords is to pivot your hand. You'll see the dramatic difference it makes in giving room to my hand. So rather than playing like this, twist your whole hand a little bit, and this is where resting your ukulele in that part of your finger can really help, but still have your thumb on the back of the neck. You'll fit your fingers in better for G7. So you can see F to G7, not too hard. And even C to G7. C, this third finger just moves up a fret, and my other two fingers place. G7. This is why it's preferred first G variation for many beginners. However, I see people stuck here. They learn G7 and they never want to touch G. Try not to be that person. I know it's hard, but it's good to see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. So, G. And I will admit it's hard, but it's good to start now. Acknowledge that many people have trouble with this at the start, but everyone that persists breaks through, they get it. It becomes part of your muscle memory, and like riding a bike, you'll never forget it. So, first finger, second fret of our C string. Second finger, second fret of our A string. And third finger on the third fret of our E string. G. Now that you have your fingers in place, make sure that each note sounds clear. A good exercise for practicing G is to play C. You'll see when I change between the chords that my third finger only needs to move down towards my toes and to the same fret, third fret. So these fingers stay hovering and I can just simply change, simply in time, change from C to G. So practice this first before any strumming, C to G. Once you can do it without strumming, add a strum. C, G, C, G. And just see how many times you can do this within a minute. It's fun actually to write down how many times you can do it in a minute. It might be 4 times. So 1, getting your fingers in place, doing this, and then strumming, and then lifting your fingers and moving. That's completely normal. Even if you're going slower than that, that's completely normal. You're learning something new, you're training your brain to connect with your fingers to know where to go. It's a big deal. So if you've been following along all the lessons, you now know C, F, G, and G7. We're going to practice C to F to G. Now moving F to G is a little trickier. What I like to think of is that these peace sign fingers do a little bit of a flip. So right now my middle finger is closest to my nose, but it's going to jump straight down to the second fret closest to my toes, and the rest of my fingers fall in place. So F, big flip, G. You'll notice how all my fingers go down at once. That's ultimately what you want to aim to do. At first, you can expect though that you probably spider your fingers on. That's okay, but as soon as you can, practice hover, place all at once. We're going to learn 2 songs, one that uses G and one that uses G7. We're going to start with the old classic Happy Birthday. This is a great song to know that you can pull out, So you can celebrate your loved ones on the day of their birth. We're just going to practice one strum per chord shown on the chord chart. You'll see here the first chord doesn't start until the word birthday, which means we actually start singing before we play anything. To find out which note to start on with your voice, which is a whole other lesson really, but strum your chord first just to get your pitch. Okay, I've got my starting note. You ready? Got my note. Are you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear loved one. Happy birthday to you. So you may want to pause this video and have a practice of these chords. That last G to C is a little trickier because it's sped up. To you. But a great one for practicing these chord changes.